Papa North just got back from the Multiverse of Madness, and if he had a chance to speak to Kevin Feige...
I don't want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
On today...
Nerd North!
That's right, Papa North is shocked and dismayed in the dumpster fire of a movie we got with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And right off the bat, if you are looking for multiverses and you are looking for cameos, do not waste your money. You'll be sadly disappointed.
Like the time I went to the Philippines and didn't know what a ladybird was.
But let Papa North break this movie down for you and tell you why he thought it was just so disappointed and why you should save your money.
Let's talk multiverses.
So right off the bat, with a name like Multiverse of Madness, Papa North and the fandom are expecting to visit this world, this multiverse, and that multiverse. But let me tell you right now, this movie really takes place in three main timelines.
That's not really multiversal, that's like visiting the tri-state.
That's right, this movie really only takes place in three separate worlds. One, the MCU that we know with Doctor Strange and his sanctum. Two, a more flowery, garden-like New York setting that you saw in the trailer. And three, a New York that seems to be a multiverse that's collapsing in on itself with the evil Doctor Strange once again we saw in the trailer before the movie's release.
What about the plane between worlds?
Alright, there is a world between worlds, a place that is out of time, kind of like they explained in the quantum realm, but it is just a fraction of the movie that takes place there, even though it is what gets the ball rolling in this story. And we get this story started with the Superior Strange and American Chavez running through the multiverse away from a demon. He is about to escape with her, but realizes they do not have the power to defeat this demon, so he decides that he has to kill American Chavez to absorb her powers to help defeat this demon.
Because no one at Disney has ever hurt a child before.
But once again, this monster bests Doctor Strange, and as he's dying, it looks like American Chavez is about to slip away through the multiverse until the monster uses a spell to keep her bound, but Strange comes back to life just long enough to free her from the monster, but then dies, and as she slips away through the multiverse, she takes his dead carcass with her.
I would have used a rolled up carpet in the cube then, but to each their own.
But like any poor written plot piece, this turns out to be just a dream. Or is it? We then have Stephen Strange attending Christine Palmer's wedding. There's some clever little banter between them and a whole little dialogue about are you being happy? And after this scene, this is when we get the big Shumagora fight.
Thank God that happened somewhere localized to the story's plot.
Now, although this fight scene was cool, the effects were great, it leaves the audience to question, where are the rest of the Avengers? This happens downtown New York. You would have figured there would have been at least one or two heroes around to help Doctor Strange out. But this also gives us the introduction of Superior Wong. That's right, Wong is Sorcerer Supreme in our reality, and the introduction of American Chavez. But Strange finally bests Shumagora by conducting a spell in which he is able to grab a streetlight, pick it up, and shove it through his eyeball.
And if you've ever been to Epstein Island, you know there's worse things to get in the eye.
Strange and Wong then try to catch up with American Chavez. Like any pesky teen, she tries to run away. They eventually do catch up with her, though. We have a great little diner scene where she gives all the deposition, explaining her powers, what she can and cannot do, and explains there is something called the Book of Ashante that Strange doesn't believe exists, but Wong knows it does, but they have no idea where to find it, but American Chavez does.
And of course, it's in the multiverse.
And after the diner scene, we get to a quick little number where American Chavez tells Doctor Strange that by accident, she brought over the body of Superior dead Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange then decides the best thing to do is cast a spell and bury it. So Wong and Strange decide to take American Chavez to the Kamatage for protection, and then Strange decides maybe it's time to pay Wanda a visit to see if she can help with this multiversal problem. We catch up with Wanda and Strange in a blooming apple orchard. He begins to ask her what she knows of the multiverse and the Darkhold. He also says that American Chavez is at the Camotage and perhaps Wanda can meet them there and help them with the predicament that they're in.
Like a woman at that time of the month.
Her attitude changes. She turns to the Scarlet Witch. Apple orchard burns, Darkhold appears, and she demands that Doctor Strange brings American Chavez to her so that she can traverse the multiverse and find her children.
They originally shot this scene with fathers from Harlem, but none of them wanted to find their children.
Knowing he has now given up the location of American Chavez to the Scarlet Witch, he quickly returns to the Camotage to prepare his men for incoming battle. Now, is the battle scene cool? Yes, it is. There's some great effects. I will admit that Scarlet Witch is just ruthless and obliterates almost everything and everyone during this battle at the Camotage.
And after a little wizardry and witchery,
we get to a quick little battle between Wanda and Strange where he's using the snaky arms before him and American Chavez slip away into another multiverse. Alright, so this is the multiverse in the trailer that you see, which is a more flowery garden New York. And pretty much any time he travels to a new multiverse, his point is to find the Doctor Strange of that multiverse to help them find the Book of Ashante. We do have one great little cameo scene here with a street vendor, Bruce Campbell, who has some food stolen from him by American Chavez. And as he goes to chase her down, Doctor Strange puts a spell on him for him to continuously punch himself in the face, what was told to be for about 3 weeks.
and that's as good as the movie got in my opinion.
Him and Chavez do find the sanctum, but there is a statue out front of Doctor Strange thanking him for giving himself as a sacrifice to help beat the Mad Titan Thanos himself. He's then confronted by Mordo with open arms, who knows he is a multiversal Strange. Seeing that his Strange is dead, he invites Chavez and Strange in for tea as they discuss the Darkhold, the Book of Ashante, and how it corrupts all.
Kinda like the book the FBI wants from Ghislaine Maxwell.
Chavez and Strange then grow woozy. They realize they have been poisoned and or drugged by Mordo. Mordo then tells Strange, "I am sorry, you are too big of a threat, and you would have done the same to me." Now this movie does jump all over the place, creating quite a bit of pacing issues. At the beginning of the movie, just like Strange, Wanda has a dream where she is happy with her children, but wakes up just to realize it's a living nightmare. Now at the Camotage, with Wong trapped and reading the Darkhold, she finds a way to get across the multiverse to find a version of herself who is happy with her children and manages to possess her.
But this moment's short-lived,
because one of Wong's helpers who survived the initial attack sneaks up on Wanda and destroys the Darkhold.
and then Wanda obliterates her.
See, this movie jumps all over the place from Wanda to Scarlet Witch, so try to keep up. Stephen Strange and American Chavez then wake up in these cubes that are very similar to the ones that we saw in Age of Ultron, where Wanda and Pietro were kept in, where their powers were minimized to inside of those cubes. And we now have the introduction of the night nurse, and she is the one that says she set up this facility through the help of the Baxter Foundation. And now Doctor Strange and her have a great little back and forth, and he's trying to convince her that, hey, you can trust me, and she doesn't. But you figure someone as smart as her would know this is a Strange from a different multiverse, so it might be worth giving him a shot, but she doesn't.
Because she's one scorned woman.
And while awaiting their trial with the Illuminati to see what's going to be happening to them because they broke through the multiverse, we then have Scarlet Witch taking Wong to Mount Wondagore after he has to give up the location where the real Darkhold is being held.
Because apparently their version was a photocopy.
Because Scarlet Witch has threatened Wong to obliterate everything and anyone that Wong knows and loves if she does not get her hands on the new Darkhold. Finally, the scene everybody's been waiting for. Strange faces off against the Illuminati.
Kinda like the Tom Hanks Illuminati with less small children in Greece.
And our Illuminati cast goes as follows. We have Superior Mordo and Captain Carter, Captain Britain, whatever you want to call her. Monica Rambeau, who is now Captain Marvel. Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, and of course, Charles Xavier.
A little credit for them throwing in the X-Men animated music from the '93 series.
But before their trial can wrap up, of course, now possessed Wanda penetrates the Illuminati headquarters security and starts to cause havoc. And this possession acting technique they used was awful. If we remember D'Onofrio from the Men in Black series, where he is inside the Edgar suit, kind of walking around, let me tell you, this was awful. But Papa North has to admit this was probably his favorite part of the movie, as Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, Monica Rambeau, and Captain Carter go to face off against the now possessed Wanda.
She makes quick work of them.
Black Bolt,
Head crushed.
Mr. Fantastic,
Spaghettified.
and although Agent Carter tells the possessed Wanda that she can do this all day,
There are other things I'd rather her be doing all day.
she is promptly cut in half.
By her own shield.
And finally, after stripping Monica Rambeau of her powers and giving her a beatdown, she crushes her to death by having a statue drop on her.
BLM's gonna riot in the streets tonight.
Now, Mordo and Xavier did not join this fight. However, Mordo and Strange do get into it while Xavier decides he's going to face off against Wanda in her mind. Now, although this is a cool little scene in concept and supposed to be a battle of the wits, it seems to be very short-lived as Scarlet Witch once again shows up and breaks Xavier's neck, killing him
For the third time in the MCU.
and now being chased down by the possessed Wanda. Strange, Chavez, and Night Nurse traversed an underground path underneath a river to find their way to the doorway to the Book of Ashante.
For something that was supposed to be so well hidden, it was literally just down a hallway.
Trying to figure out the way the dead Doctor Strange would have broke the combination lock for this door, our Stephen Strange then realizes it's his broken watch and fits it into the hole that's perfectly placed for it.
An Oreo cookie or a silver dollar would have worked as well.
But of course, before they can get through the door, possessed Wanda shows up, so they flood her in a lockdown area hoping she will drown, and they get to the Book of Ashante. But of course, she's not dead and shows up right there with them, and then promptly destroys the Book of Ashante before taking American Chavez and sending Doctor Strange and Night Nurse into our third multiverse. Now, this is the multiverse that seems to be collapsing in on itself. It's all kind of foggy and snowy, the one with the evil Doctor Strange we saw from the trailer. So, of course, once again, off to find the other sanctum. Does find the other Doctor Strange in this sanctum, but leaves the Night Nurse outside. The evil Doctor Strange then begins to explain how he lost everything when his universes collided, and used the Darkhold to search all the multiverses where he could find a Christine Palmer that he could love and be with forever.
And possibly a multiverse where Christine Palmer didn't have a giant mole on the side of her face.
Realizing not only is there no other Book of Ashante, but he will actually have to use the Darkhold to figure out how to save the day, our Stephen Strange then tells the other Doctor Strange that he's being corrupted by the Book of the Darkhold and has to be stopped forever. Which turns into an interesting little battle where we have good Doctor Strange face off against evil Doctor Strange, but they wind up using musical notes and sheet music to fight each other.
Like Daffy and Donald Duck in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Where good guy Strange, best bad guy Strange, throws him out a window where he is impaled on a metal fence right in front of the Night Nurse. Now it's Strange's turn to do a little possession of the body of himself so he can save the day. Just like any good horror movie where the solution to the problem is given away within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
With no avatar of himself to possess, Doctor Strange then decides to possess the dead body of himself from the multiverse at the beginning of the movie to save the day.
We then get to an epic battle between Wanda and Zombie Strange where they duke it out for supremacy, but Wanda still gets the best of the situation.
Unlike her sisters in Fuller House,
Where American Chavez finally has to grow the confidence to take on Wanda herself and says, I'm finally gonna give you what you've always asked for.
sends her to the multiverse where her loving mother is with her 2 children.
And just like any mama on a bender, she winds up scaring the crap out of her children as she begins to beat down on the Wanda in that multiverse, and her children want nothing to do with her. Realizing the menace that she has become herself, Wanda stops her attack when the Wanda from that multiverse gets up and tells her these children will always be loved. She then goes back to her universe, makes everything right, and destroys every dark hole in every multiverse.
So if she was able to traverse the multiverse by herself without American Chavez, then why did she need Chavez in the first place?
We then wrap things up with going back to our New York. We have Stephen Strange now finding some closure in his life. He puts away his now fixed watch, and as he's walking down the street, a happy man, he begins to freak out, and when he gets up, he has the third eyeball in his head. End of film. Post-credit scene number 1. Once again, we have a happy-go-lucky Stephen Strange walking down the street when he is confronted by Clea. She has told him, you have created an incursion and you have to come with me to get this sorted out. She then uses some sort of weapon to open up a slice in the multiversal fabric where we see Dormammu in the background. Stephen Strange's third eye opens up and he gladly follows her.
This is part 2 and we're already recycling bad guys from the first movie? Give me a break!
In what seemed like a half hour worth of credits, we finally hit post-credit scene 2. And in this post-credit scene, we go back to Bruce Campbell, who is still slapping himself in the face when he stops, looks at his hand, looks at the camera and says, "It's finally over. End of movie." What a slap in the face to good-paying MCU fans who wanted a little bit more oomph out of the post-credit scene and this movie altogether. Papa North is shocked and dismayed at these choices, and I will tell you, the next time I go into an MCU film, I will be going in with a lot of hesitation and wondering just how crappy the next movie is going to be. But tell me what you think. Have you seen Multiverse of Madness yet? Or are you going to go see it today? Leave a comment below if you thought my review was great, if you disagreed with it, and if you did, leave a like and a comment. And don't forget, the more likes and comments you leave gives me more of a chance to make some great nerdy content for subscribers like you.
While you're at it, hit subscribe. We have almost broke 50 subscribers, and at 50 I'll be doing Funko Pop giveaways and live streams, but you gotta be subscribed to win the Funko Pops.
Don't forget to follow me at Nerd North Drew. If you have a talent you can add to Nerd North, we are always looking for new team members, whether you know about gaming, comic books, whether you're a graphic designer, sound maker, let us know and join our big nerdy community. And of course, a big shout out to the Resonator for our Nerd North theme song. We hope you've enjoyed it.
His links are in the descriptions below.
And until next time,
Nerd North!